Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Season 2 of Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generated game. When we left off in the previous episode, we were healing in the grotto. We were healing in Greenleaf, and things were kind of looking good. But guys, unfortunately, life in the clan has taken a turn for the worse. And sometimes there are deaths that completely change the trajectory of the clan. And this is one of those deaths. But yes, guys, we have lost a cat. This past moon, we have lost a cat. And it absolutely breaks my heart. It tears me apart, to be honest. Because I was really fond of this cat. But okay, let's get into it. It is the final turn of Greenleaf. We are at moon 113. Off in the leader's den, we still have all of our alliances under Queen Rainstar. And finally, let's take a look. So guys, Bearpelt has gotten fleas. Rumors reach your clan that the exiled Snow Ash has died recently. Or not the exiled, sorry. One of our 7 clan members, Snow Ash, has passed away, who's been around for a long time. And then the tragedy. Quill Runner died from a bite wound. Quill Runner, guys, who put himself on the line, proved himself a hero essentially, and then got bitten by a small dog. A dog which kind of lucked out. And Quill Runner's been to a lot of patrols. He was a very experienced cat and a talented cat, I would think. Not as great a hunter as his brother Frostfade in actuality, but still, he was really, really good. And, he had a lot of experience about how things work in the forest outside the grotto. But, unfortunately, he succumbed to his bite wound, and he could not recover from that. And I think this is something that is going to hit the clan in a lot of ways, because he was related to a lot of the clan cats. Like, he has his mother, he has his uncles, his cousins, and obviously the cats that he was in love with, cats that were in love with him or tied to him in some way. And one of the big things that obviously is going to change is our new match, because Quill Runner was paired up with Flower, a 7 clan member who was elevated to nobility specifically to have a litter with Quill Runner. And her position in the clan was kind of counting on her relationship with Quill Runner, and now that Quill Runner has passed on, obviously she has lost her status of nobility, and she has been relegated to 7 clan once more. So she no longer is in the grotto with us, guys. Flower is no longer among us in the grotto. Okay, so continuing this. In the losses Icicle Speck weathered in the past, Quill Runner had always been there to comfort him. Now that it's his death that Icicle Speck is grieving, he is alone. He can't be bothered to get up out of his nest the next day, refusing to speak a word to those around him. And then, Garlic Glow fusses gently with Quill Runner's fur, hiding the evidence of what killed him. She wants to remember him as he was in life, not like this. The loss takes such a toll on her that she can barely find her footing as she stumbles to her nest, waiting for Quill Runner. The past moon, Quill Runner has taken their place in Star Clan. Royal Clan mourns their loss, and their clanmates will miss this spot they took up in their lives. Moments of their life are shared in stories around the circle of mourners, as those that were closest to them take them to their final resting place. This just kills me, guys. I was not ready for Quill Runner to go. I really wasn't. But like I said, after Quill Runner's death, the clan had no more need of Flower. So she was, sent back out of the grotto to 7 clan. And so she's kind of lost her position over here. She's lost kind of the life she was building here, which is kind of wild. And now Flare Freckle has to get used to losing not just one of her sons, but both her sons. And I think everyone is going to be a lot more freaked out over Ghost Feather and whether or not he's going to make it. And I'm pretty sure, was it Ink Feather who got a cat bite? Everyone's going to be quite freaked out over Ink Feather as well. And he was so close, guys, to carrying on his bloodline as well. Like, nothing happened to him this whole time, and then he was paired up with Flower, and their relationship was going well. They were compatible, things were going well. All it took was one patrol to screw everything up, and then we lost him. Makes me so sad. Makes me so sad. I was not ready for that. I thought this family was going to expand so happily, and like Flare Freckles' family, her family tree were going to expand so happily, and everything was going to be like so wonderful, but apparently that is not the case. That is not the case, guys. So okay, let's go ahead, and obviously this means that Icicle Spec is going to be, I think I've actually forgot to set it, but he actually should be the new Royal Physician, or should be promoted back to Royal Physician, and that means Ink Feather needs to be promoted back to the Matchmaker. But these two obviously are not in any state to be doing anything. And I was thinking about it, and I thought it was kind of interesting that out of the cats to be affected by Quillrunner's death, the ones that are the most deeply affected are Icicle Spec and Garlic Glow. Icicle Spec, who is in love with him, and who Quillrunner was in love with, and surprisingly Garlic Glow. But you know what? I think I can kind of understand from the perspective that Garlic Glow maybe feels a certain measure of guilt towards Quillrunner, because she didn't want Quillrunner to be with Icicle Spec, and she was kind of happy when they broke up so that Quillrunner could be paired off with Flower. But also, she knows that this was a cat that deeply loved her soulmate, and who her soulmate also loved. So I can see from that perspective how she would be kind of like, there would be a tangle of emotions there. And so she would kind of be very affected by Quillrunner's death as well. Okay, well guys, let's go ahead and head off to the Medicine Cat Den. Ink Feather has that cat bite, Ghost Feather has the broken bone, so mother and son at this point, and I'm very, very nervous for the two of them. Grief-stricken cats over here, Bear Pelt with his fleas. Ink Feather was given cobwebs as treatment for the cat bite. Quillrunner was given cobwebs as treatment for the bite wound. Rosemary, and then he passed away from that, he died from the bite wound. Rosemary was used for Quillrunner's body. Ghost Feather was given cobwebs as treatment for broken bone. Garlic Glow was given time as treatment for grief-stricken. And then Flower, before she left, gathered burdock, rosemary, and goldenrod this moon. So okay, let's take a look at relationships. Maybe we'll get a timeline for Quillrunner, and maybe even Flower before she was exiled and before Quillrunner passed away. Icicle Spec is telling a story to Lotus Kit. Icicle Spec keeps having bad dreams about Lotus Kit. Shining Stripe thinks Hemlock is very polite. Fierce Tooth was complimented by another clan during the recent gathering, but Shining Stripe wasn't. Flower vents about something trivial to Flare Freckle. Maybe she's venting about how, because she was the one looking after Quillrunner, maybe she realized that he was not looking good and things were not improving, and she was kind of freaking out, so she was venting to Flare Freckle about it. And maybe some of the other cats thought it was trivial, but to Flower it really wasn't. Flare Freckle, Rainstar, Queen Rainstar, and River Whistle had a nice talk while eating. Flare Freckle and Lion Kid bring each other prey. Bear Pelt warns Garlic Glow about something on the ground so Garlic Glow doesn't trip. Bear Pelt sees Freeze Fur be kind to one of Bear Pelt's friends. A big bug keeps buzzing around Ink Feather and Fierce Tooth. Ink Feather prevents something from falling on Fierce Tooth. Foxclaw talks to Hemlock about a mutual friend they have both been worrying about. You know what? I feel like this might be, we can say it was probably Quillrunner, because I feel like Quillrunner would have been associated with both these cats. Foxclaw is wowed by how bravely Fiercetooth fought the other day. Ghostfeather mews congratulations to Hemlock for a job well done. Ghostfeather is surprised by Lion Kid being thoughtful. Freezefur thinks River Whistle has interesting things to talk about. Freezefur, Inkfeather, and Flarefreckle took a sunbath and had a little small talk. Freezefur and Lotus Kid bring each other prey. Garlic Glow tells Shining Stripe to count on her in a difficult situation. Garlic Glow gets a bunch of cats up for morning stretches and they don't like it. Garlic Glow and Foxclaw notice a cloud is shaped like a bird. Queen Rainstar thinks that River Whistle is acting overly dramatic lately. Queen Rainstar is surprised by the hurtful things Lotus Kid can say in an argument. Queen Rainstar and Shining Stripe have been sickeningly lovey-dovey all day. Both Flower and Hemlock enthusiastically congratulate another clanmate on something. Foxclaw surprises Flower with something nice. Cinnamon Tail is sharing a piece of fresh killer with Lion Kit. When River Whistle gets hurt, Scorch Kid is the first to ask if he's okay. Hemlock takes Inkfeather out to look at the stars, explaining the constellations to her. Hemlock is motivated by Cinnamon Tail's big smile. Fiercetooth and Freezefur realize they have more in common than previously thought. Lion Kit realizes that he misunderstood something his Aunt Flarefreckle said. Lotus Kid calls Inkfeather a stinky dirt face. Lotus Kid? You're the impulsive one, right? Yeah. Shining Stripe and Scorch Kid have a misunderstanding that makes them grumpy for the rest of the day. And then, of course, Cool Runner passed on, so it seems as though Cool Runner, guys, was wasting away in the medicine cat den, and I think his condition was bad enough that he could not get up, get out, do anything, interact with any of the cats. And I think early on, probably, Flower noticed, and Flower got very worried. And some of the other cats maybe thought that, no, it's okay, he's gotten through other things, he'll get through this, but no, it really wasn't. And that is all we have for the events. Let's wrap up over here and move on to the cat list. Okay, let's continue with the cat list. So a quick reminder on our loyalties. In terms of relationships, there were only 2 cats that I noticed things with. The first was Hemlock. She has had a new romance with Inkfeather. And I think what this stemmed from is Hemlock taking Inkfeather out to look at the stars and explaining the constellations to her. So I think Hemlock realized that Inkfeather was probably feeling very down since she has a cat bite, her life is on the line, her son's life is on the line from that broken bone, and she just lost someone who she had feelings for. So I think Hemlock probably just went to check in on Inkfeather and keep her company, and this was more of a, friendship, companionship thing that happened between the 2 of them. And maybe it meant a little bit more to Hemlock, because seeing how kind of lonely Inkfeather was made her kind of think about her own situation and how she would feel if something like that happened to Bearpelt, because Bearpelt is really the only friend she has in this clan, aside from, her kids. But yeah, Bearpelt is pretty much the only cat that she has managed to befriend because of how lonesome she is and how difficult she is to get close to, and I think that made her really feel for Inkfeather. The second and last cat that I noticed a change with was Inkfeather herself. So Inkfeather has also begun a new romance with Hemlock. It's a smidge, but I think she really appreciated Hemlock being there for her, and Hemlock not really making her talk about it, but just giving her company and talking about, something like the stars, especially because for them, they have the comfort of knowing that their loved ones end up in StarClan. And I mean, she has, a bigger support system. She's got more friends in like Bearpelt, in Icicle Speck, and then in her 2 sons, Foxclaw and Ghostfeather. But I think she still would have appreciated Hemlock's company. So okay, now that we have wrapped that up, the question goes to who Queen Rainstar is going to have the next match between, because the clan cannot wait, even in this time of grief. So Rainstar has decided, guys, that the next pair of cats that are going to be, aiming for a litter within the clan or trying for a litter within the clan are going to be Foxclaw and Fiercetooth. So Fiercetooth our lovely female, the only female we've had in a long time after Flare Freckle to survive into adulthood. You know, she is of age. I mean, she is very young, and she's actually been getting along very well with Foxclaw. So, yeah, Rainstar has decided that these are the cats who are going to be making the new match, and she's kind of hoping that things are going to go well between the two of them because they do get along. And, you know, at least it's not like Fiercetooth and Ghostfeather, because Ghostfeather hates Fiercetooth. So that's kind of what's happening. So let's go ahead. And you know, Foxclaw, since he broke up with Bearpelt, he's not tied to anyone in a relationship. And Fiercetooth, I don't think has actually... no, she hasn't ever like had a romantic inclination towards anyone. I mean, she's very young, only 16 moons. So this is going to be her first taste of romance. And Foxclaw, he's actually not in love with anyone. The only cat he has any sort of romantic attachment to is Bearpelt, and that's entirely because, yes, they had a relationship before, and then, you know, it was Bearpelt pursuing him. But after the breakup, he hasn't kind of, I think, fallen back in love with Bearpelt, and he doesn't have anyone else that he's been looking at either. So I think this is maybe a good kind of situation, not in the greatest scheme of things, given, you know, Quillrunner's death, but I think personally, between the two of them, emotionally, this is kind of a good foundation for them maybe to have a relationship. So, without further ado, Foxclaw and Fiercetooth. I mean, they are incompatible, so I don't know how this is going to work out, because Foxclaw, you know, he is sneaky, Fiercetooth is insecure. Now, the thing about their relationship, obviously this is the ideal pairing for the clan, to have, you know, two clan-born cats, but if, for whatever reason, they break up, obviously because Fiercetooth is a clan-born royal, her position in the clan isn't going to be risked, but instead what will happen is that Foxclaw will have one of the servant cats elevated to nobility to pair up with if he and Fiercetooth break up. But the clan is hoping that they will kind of work, and they'll work together well. So there we go. They are now going to be a couple, and I don't know how they're going to work because, you know, Foxclaw is sneaky, and I feel like part of that might mean that he kind of sneaks off, maybe with Bearpelt. He kind of sneaks off without explanation, and that might not work well with someone like Fiercetooth, who's insecure and maybe needs to be reassured constantly about Foxclaw's intentions and his affections, and I don't know, his behavior might cause her to kind of cook up things in her head. So I honestly don't know how this is going to work out, but that's kind of what we have between the two of them. So we need to let him have kits, let her have kits, and actually because of how did I not, hold on a second, did I not set you to like not be able to have kids? Because I did for these ones. I did for the youngsters. For whatever reason, I completely forgot to ensure that she like doesn't have kids, just in general, but well, at least I don't have to turn the setting back on. So yeah, Foxclaw and Fiercetooth, and I was saying we might have a better chance at a bigger litter because of how young Foxclaw and Fiercetooth are. Foxclaw is an adult, he's 68 moons, and like I said, Fiercetooth is a young adult at 16 moons, so we might actually get like a bigger litter. But then again, you never know, because I have had young cats have literally a single kitten. I mean, it doesn't matter either way. We have a lot of wonderful breedable cats, but also we're kind of really close to filling up the clan. So I think the ideal litter size for them would actually be 3 cats. If they had 3 cats, like Bearpelt did, then they would pretty much max out the clan. And then we would be done with breeding, at least in the immediate future. So okay, we obviously can't have any matchmaking with Inkfeather because, you know, she is probably going to be down for a long time with her cat bite. So this is entirely going to be between Foxclaw and Fiercetooth, whether or not they can figure this out. Or if maybe they were compatible as friends but might not be compatible as mates. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and see what everyone's doing for the day. Queen Rainstar feels confident that the clan admires her and maybe the decisions that she's making in the aftermath of this very unexpected death. Hemlock is finding the buzzing of the cicadas annoying. Icicle Speck is teaching Lotus Kit the importance of following the code. Inkfeather knows her friendships are just as important as clan bonds. And you know, I wonder if part of this code he's teaching Lotus Kit might be that the clan is more important than the self, even when it results in tragic things like this, where, Quill Runner died because he put himself on the line, but he did so to protect his clan members, and that is something every cat has to be willing to do. And then, Inkfeather obviously thinking about friendships being important, especially because Hemlock was actually giving her some company. Shining Stripe tries to set a good example for younger cats. Flare Freckle does her best to console her clanmates about Quill Runner's death. Oh, Flare Freckle. And, she... it's kind of wild that she lost her, parents, she lost her mate, she lost now both her sons, but the one thing that has been constant throughout her entire life, and she is like 107 moons old, and she's clan born, she was born within our series, is the support she has of her brothers. Her brothers have always been a constant in her life. And honestly, it feels like Shining Stripe, Flare Freckle, and Bearpaw are kind of the main characters, because they're the only litter that has survived in its entirety, the only litter that has flourished and had their offspring, the only litter that has lived really full and fruitful lives and is still alive to this day. So, it's a bit of a saga, but yeah, I can see Flare Freckle trying to keep herself kind of together, because in a lot of ways, she's kind of the matriarch of her family. And so, and not only that, but an important matriarch within the clan, because, she's the only royal matriarch that we have. The only royal female of her age. The other females, like Rainstar, Hemlock, Garlic Glow, they're not royals, they're nobles. Even if some of them have the title of queen, they're still nobles. So I think Flare Freckle knows her importance in the clan, and she is trying to ensure that when they look to her for guidance, she's able to guide them without falling apart. Bearpelt wonders how Garlic Glow is doing. Ghostfeather promises his clanmates he won't do anything dangerous while out, because obviously a lot of the clanmates would be freaked out by Quill Runner's death, and now about the injury that Ghostfeather has. Foxclaw arranged the flowers for Quill Runner's vigil. Freezefur arranged the flowers for Quill Runner's vigil. River Whistle hissed at anyone who got too close to Quill Runner's body, refusing to let go. And a lot of these cats, it's kind of wild how many lives Quill Runner touched, because I think almost every cat he wasn't related to, he had like some bit of romance with, or they were admirers of his. He was like a cat that was like everywhere. Cinnamon Tail is looking forward to the next gathering. Fierce Tooth is sharpening her claws to look stronger. I wonder if, yes, she was friends with Foxclaw, but now that she's mated to him, she's a little bit intimidated by how much more experienced Foxclaw is and how prominent he is in the clan, and the fact that he knows so much more. He's like been in love before and she hasn't, so I think she's trying to make herself look stronger. She's treating this like a battle, because I think she assumed that she would have a lot more time before it was kind of her turn to have a litter. Garlic Glow is in quite the mood today. Lion Kid is buzzing after swallowing a cicada. Lotus Kid is whining for milk. Scorch Kid is sitting in the shade trying to hide from the heat. And that's all we have for the cat list, so let's wrap up and move on to patrols. Okay, we are continuing with our patrols. We currently have 97.9 prey and we need 38.5, so we're not worried about food. We don't have our royal physician out with us because he is in mourning. We're going to have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 4. So first up we have Shining Stripe, Cinnamon Tail, Foxclaw, Hemlock, Flare Freckle, and Freezefur. So let's see what they get up to. Hopefully it is a safe patrol. We haven't had very good luck recently. Oh jeez. The patrol comes across a small dog right on the border of Royal Clan territory. I think this would be so traumatic for the cats, knowing that they lost Quill Runner because of a dog bite he got from a small dog a couple moons back. I think they would be terrified of this, but normally they wouldn't be. Flare Freckle calls out a battle plan, and the cats flow into it, carefully covering each other and driving the dog backwards until its nerve breaks. It tucks tail and it runs from Royal Clan territory, headed deep into the wilderness. You know what? I kind of love the fact that Flare Freckle, Quill Runner's mother, is the one who stepped up and she said no. No one else is going to die today. No one else is going to die by a dog. And by a dog bite. Not under my watch. And she came up with a plan to make sure that everyone was okay. How is she not the main character? Like, come on, guys. She's the main character. From the raspberries she has on her fur to the saga she's had with her love life, her romances, her children, her brothers, her nieces and nephews. How is she not the main character? Like, surely she is. I feel like she's the main character of Royal Clan. And then finally, we have a patrol of 4 with Fierce Tooth, River Whistle, Bear Pelt, and Queen Rainstar. So let's see what they get up to. Queen Rainstar leads the patrol towards the abandoned two-leg nest, listening to Bear Pelt's plan. Rats were seen hiding inside to protect themselves from the sweltering heat. Perhaps it would be a perfect hunting spot. Proceed. Bear Pelt leads the patrol towards the nest, pushing past the rotting wood blocking the entrance. The patrol gets to work rounding up and piling up the rats, and by nightfall they have so much it takes 2 trips to bring them back. Bear Pelt is congratulated for his ingenious plan. And again, Flare Freckle on one patrol, her brother Bear Pelt on the other. I just love these siblings. Her family really feels really like strong, put together. It feels like they're the backbone of the clan. I don't know what would happen to the clan if we lost any one of them. A medium amount of prey is brought to camp. Now we have 126.7. But okay guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, even though it was tragic, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.